Hey friends, it's Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. October 3rd, 2 p.m. Eastern. There's a lot to talk about. I want to talk about the broader market a lot, but I'm going to reserve that for the broader market video that I'm going to do in 2 hours from now at the end of the day. I'll talk about it a bit, but I'm going to go a lot more in depth in that video. So check out that video if you want to know more about the broader market. But I'm going to talk about in this video why I have now entered bullish for the first time in a long time in the crypto space. There's a number of reasons. I will highlight why and what my game plan is. And Sweetie Pants wants to come outside. Come on, Bubba. All right. So let's talk about stuff. NASDAQ's up at the high of the day, so a nice bounce. Well, before we get into it, we've got the Trader Pro Alert System webinar tomorrow. So going to be talking about which alerts are best in which market conditions and talking about where the alerts came from, how to best utilize them, all that stuff. And we're going to give away a free 1-month trial to use it. So sign up with this link that I will post in the comments in the description of the video. And if you can't make the webinar tomorrow, 5 p.m., if you sign up with this link, you will be emailed the video and the information and the discount code and all that stuff right after the webinar is done. Check it out. All right. So NASDAQ's up at the high of the day. So what I'm watching in the broader market first, briefly, not going to go in depth, but I'm watching bear flags that confirmed lacking follow through. So how do we see a lack of follow through? You see a low, a weak bounce, a new low, and that new low lacks any follow through. It goes straight into a bounce attempt. This is SPY. SPY confirmed a daily bear flag to end last week, and here we are testing the high of Friday with a fairly notable short-term reversal. There's still a lot of proving that these bulls have to do, but some of our most major sectors held support and did not confirm bear flags. The financial sector did not confirm the bear flag. It is now testing resistance. Healthcare did not confirm the bear flag. IWM, the Russell 2000, did not confirm the bear flag. So what I'm seeing is a bear flag lacking follow through and the potential that that leads to a catalyst of being a short-term bounce, really just looking for a weekly bounce to try and get going here to start the month. But this is just the initial starting signs of it. And if I'm watching the futures chart, we know how important the 4-hour time frame is. First off, look at this megaphone. Here's the 4-hour. This megaphone has come into play many times. Resistance still a ways away, but we need a 4-hour trend change to bulls here if we're going to see confidence in follow through. So today, or I should say tomorrow into Wednesday, I need both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 futures to give us 4-hour trend changes. Once we top out, got to hold the low and break the high. And when's the last time we've seen a clear 4-hour uptrend in the NASDAQ? The answer is it's been a while. Pretty much since the FOMC, we have not seen a 4-hour uptrend. So that has to happen for the first time in weeks to get our attention. The dollar. The dollar is still strong on the daily. It's battling to hold daily EMA 12. If the bulls are able to gain a 4-hour uptrend, the daily high or low will be set. The most important factor for me is, do we confirm a daily downtrend from here? Do we set the lower high and lower low, which would then have a zoom out into weekly consolidation and look for a test of the weekly EMA 12, which is held forever. That's the most important long-term level for me. If we lose weekly EMA 12 on the dollar, it's going to be a fun time for silver. Stocks are going to perform well, relatively speaking, in the short term. And we're going to look for Bitcoin to perform if we see the dollar lose weekly EMA 12. That's a big if, and we're probably not going to get the answer to that for a number of weeks. Maybe end of October, start of November, we'll get that information. But for now, I'm just watching the daily uptrend on the dollar, which is still intact, knowing that if my Bitcoin bull thesis is going to play out, that we have to see the loss of the daily uptrend here. Silver is getting my attention. Silver has been getting my attention for the last couple of weeks. I've been posting about it a few times on Twitter, but this is now a weekly uptrend. This is the first weekly uptrend for silver since we topped out back in March. So the 6-month downtrend has now shifted. It's the most bullish day that silver has seen since the Reddit short squeeze, whatever was happening that never amounted to anything. But it's the biggest bullish day in a long time, is the point that I'm making. That's very notable. This is silver breaking bull in front of dollar weakness. The dollar is not seeing nearly as much weakness as silver is seeing strength. But this is showing tension building, constricting price, leading to a pop and leading to the scales going from supply outweighing demand this entire 6 months. And those scales today just went like this. And now demand is outweighing supply. So silver and silver miners having a significant 4-day move. The volume on the miners stood out to me to end last week. So I'm seeing enough signs that said to me, okay, you've been highlighting Bitcoin relative strength for weeks. Bitcoin has a very clear support level established. It's in a clear tightening range. You haven't taken a bullish trade in crypto of any significance in months. If you're not going to enter bullish here, when are you going to enter bullish? So that's enough for me to make this attempt. And really the last time I made a bullish trade, the last notable trade that I made in crypto was buying this fear flush of 20,000 and then selling at EMA 12, having that weekly EMA 12 as the target. And I've made maybe 1 or 2 trades since then, but very insignificant and not noteworthy. So I've been a good patient boy sitting on my hands for months. I've been sitting around for 2-3 months doing nothing in crypto. Can't short at this point with limited exchanges in the US allowing shorting, but so I'm doing nothing. But now it's time to do something. So I am long Bitcoin. I bought today maybe 19 threes or so, but this is just a starter. I'm not all in. I'm not aggressive. Another factor is one of our former Chart Guys members, Tim, who many of you know, Elliott Wave, and his style of trading is completely different than mine as far as technical analysis. But when things align, when he says something and I see something with my style and they align, that is another vote of confidence. So got a message from Tim that gave me a little bit of a nudge today as well, saying, yeah, okay, this is a good risk reward spot. And if I'm wrong, we'll know fairly quickly. But we have a tightening daily range right now with a high, low, lower high, higher low. We've seen 2 bull breaks in the last week that resulted in no follow through for the bulls because the broader market showed weakness. So the question is, can the broader market start giving us some strength to work with? And right now, I would like to see another lower high. I want a bigger position. So to increase my position size, I have 2 possibilities to do it. We reject from 20.2 thousand and pull back and form another 12-hour high or low. And I'll add some there. Or I just add up into strength. And I would average up. And I would be okay averaging up and increasing position size because that means my position is already in the green. I've got cushion to work with. And so 20.4 is key for me and 22.8 is the biggie. If I'm going to get further confidence that this is the right trade to be taking, I need the dollar to lose the daily uptrend, as I mentioned, and I need Bitcoin to get over weekly EMA 12. If Bitcoin does not get over weekly EMA 12, we aren't going anywhere. And this is going to be a failed trade. But again, if I had been trying to trade bullish here over the last 2 months and failing and taking loss after loss, I wouldn't be making this trade. It's because I have been nice and patient. This is as good a spot as any in the last 2 months to be looking bullish. And so I'm going for it. And in the end, if I stop out, it won't be a huge loss at this point, but I do want more position size. So essentially, I need the bulls to prove to me, you're on the right track, you should be adding more position size. And that's not going to happen. 20.4 has to break at a bare minimum for me to be gaining some confidence that I'm on the right track. Bitcoin divided by the NASDAQ has been showing us relative strength. That's another factor as to why I am looking long. Why did I choose Bitcoin rather than an altcoin? Because I believe that there is a decent probability that Bitcoin breaks the recent highs. Right now we've got an uptrend on this. Well, actually, I want to talk about the dominance chart for that, but we've got relative strength against the broader stock market. We've got an uptrend. Keep it simple. We've got higher lows and higher highs. Higher low, higher high. Higher low, higher high, higher low. Bulls really want to see a break of this 179 high to give us the strongest that we have been compared to the broader stock market in a month and a half. That would be another vote of confidence if bulls can pull that off. If we lose the daily higher lows, that makes me a little bit less confident in this bullish position. I chose Bitcoin over altcoins because I see a scenario where this dominance chart could be an ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern where you have a clear resistance level. And essentially, I'm looking for Bitcoin dominance to break 4162 and get to the highest level that it's been at in the last 2 months. And I see a possible scenario where the tightening daily range for Bitcoin can break bull while this dominance chart breaks bull, showing us Bitcoin leading the way. And then maybe that sees confidence trickle out into altcoins and altcoins play catch up and play laggard. But I do believe that if we're going to make a move off this low, I do believe Bitcoin will lead the way because of how this dominance chart is shaping up. So Ethereum is not as close to its recent high. We just tested support and it held. It's a tightening daily range as well. EMA 12 resistance, 1373, 1400 resistances. Bulls just held 1253. So we're tightening up here. And again, we know when we see a range this tight in crypto, we know volatility is coming. When has Ethereum been this tight over this significant amount of time? And you're not going to find it for months. Same thing for Bitcoin. When's the last time Bitcoin, well, maybe not as much, but yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a sideways range. Back here is when it was similar. So volatility is coming. ETH BTC trying to hold a double bottom. Again, if the dominance chart's going to break bull on Bitcoin, that means ETH BTC is likely going to head to a lower low. It's set daily lower highs every bounce attempt for the last month. It's got daily EMA 12. And I would just rather go with the dominance uptrend versus a BTC pairing that's in a downtrend in terms of the name that I'm going to choose bullish. It's possible that, if Bitcoin pops first and confirms that I'm on the right track with this thought process, that maybe instead of adding more to Bitcoin, I'll add some to altcoins as well. That's a possibility, but have to see how it all plays out. Market's still up at the highs. Big green day. The S&P 500 is trying to go plus 3% on the day. So it's definitely one of the more convincing days in the last 2 weeks of trading. But it's only one day. We need more. We need consistency and follow through from these bulls. Binance is another altcoin that's continuing to perform well. Again, a monthly trend change is trying to shape up here. And if Binance can get over 337, it's a monthly higher low and higher high. We're holding on really well. I'm a lot more confident in this rounding bottom pattern for Binance than I am on Bitcoin because Binance is in a clear daily uptrend. We're also watching Binance BTC hit all-time highs, but I've got this uptrending resistance and uptrending support that I'm keeping a close eye on because bulls are struggling to get over it, and today's reaction to it is clearly showing us that as well. The best case scenario for a Binance bull would be for Bitcoin to break bull, Binance to be going up with Bitcoin, but this Binance BTC chart is dropping because Bitcoin's going up faster. That would be best case for the bulls because that would be showing relative weakness, but bulls are still making money as Binance is going up with Bitcoin. One more XRP. Aggressive bulls are looking for XRP to give us a daily higher low. And it's starting to shape up now. Again, just a classic equilibrium. And we were looking for the daily lower high to be the result of this bounce due to the size of the pullback. And now we're looking for the higher low. Anything above 4168. We need a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls, which has not shaped up yet. So we'll have to top out and then higher low and higher high on the 4-hour for bulls to have confidence the daily higher low is being set. But I can look at this chart. One of the ways that I trade in equilibrium, pay attention. One of the ways that I trade in equilibrium is I will look at this move and say that is either the daily higher low or I am wrong. So I'm no longer playing off of 4168 support. I am now playing off of 4372 support, which means I have 5% less risk. I have a new level to be going off of. That is either the daily higher low or I am wrong. So what does that mean? That means the next time we see 4-hour consolidation, I can look to make an entry or two and stick my stop under that level and have 5% less risk than sticking my stop under the previous level. We don't have confirmation the daily high or low is set yet, but it's developed enough where I can say with this setup, that's either the daily high or low for the equilibrium that I'm looking for, or I am wrong and will stop out. And that is how I trade equilibriums very often. And that's how I trade a lot. If we got a high of yesterday resistance level that's 1% away still, and I see short-term time frames giving me an indication that we're potentially topping out here, and then we lose a short-term uptrend, I then say that's either the lower high, failing the high of yesterday resistance, or I am wrong. And I can now have 1% less risk by using that new level versus the old level. So I'm just waiting for new levels to be given to me to give me less risk on my trade, because my thesis gets invalidated sooner if that new level then breaks. So we're watching for XRP for a daily high or low attempt. Atom BTC is trying to shift momentum. Atom BTC has been weaker ever since we confirmed this daily head and shoulders that we were watching. Took a while to roll over, but we did. But now it's trying for a weekly high or low with EMA 12 support right below. And so this is a big enough bounce where, okay, let's keep an eye out and see if Atom BTC can confirm the first 4-hour uptrend that we've seen in a week plus to try and show relative weakness shift back into some relative strength. Atom USD is looking for a weekly high or low as well. Both pairings need a 4-hour trend change, but the bounce is big enough, the volume is convincing enough for us to now be watching for the 4-hour trend change attempt from here. Bulls keep pouring it on, still up at the highs in the broader market. Bitcoin hourly bull flag confirmed, 20.2 key resistance. And we will still need to confirm a 4-hour uptrend here as well. So pretty much all altcoins and Bitcoin itself, we're watching for a 4-hour trend change to confirm into tomorrow. Or not necessarily into tomorrow, to shape up and confirm tomorrow if we're going to see bull follow through from here. And again, it's the same thing that the futures charts need. We need a 4-hour trend change on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 for this move to follow through. So we haven't topped out yet. It's been a very impressive control day for the bulls. But we're watching for it. And the NASDAQ right now, look at the hourly RSI. We know we're in a downtrend. So the hourly RSI has been unable to get over 70 since the FOMC reaction weeks ago. And here we are right at 70. So maybe this is now where we're going to start 4-hour consolidation shaping up. There's no sign of it, but we know that's going to be inevitable. It's just a question of how much upside can bulls see before we top out into that consolidation. Essentially, I went into this morning after all my pre-market prep in the stock market saying, I'm a lot more open to a bull shift in things than I was last week. And today has done nothing but just confirm that for me. All right. Let's see. Anything else that I wanted to talk about? A lot of green out there. What are you all talking about? Any questions? Welcome. Questions on the broader market, questions on my trade setup, questions on whatever. Where's my stop on my new position? If we break 17.5, I am wrong. I will move my stop up if we break this daily equilibrium. If we break 24, I'm then going to move my stop up to 18.9. Because if we break that level and then lose the daily uptrend, that's a big red flag for me. We need to break that level and then continue a daily uptrend to take out weekly resistance. How is Mana looking? Mana BTC shows us that Mana is still all bears. If we are not in a daily uptrend on the BTC pairing, it is all bears still in control. We are approaching the weakest that Mana has been relative to Bitcoin in 4 months. So there's no change there. It'll change eventually. I'm watching this falling wedge, but there's no sign of a change at this point, especially if Bitcoin dominance chart breaks bull. We would look for Mana to be testing, Mana BTC to be testing recent lows. Do I think there'll be a decoupling from the S&P 500 if it crashes more? I don't. If the S&P 500 sees new fresh lows, it's definitely a red flag for my Bitcoin thesis. We can continue to hold on stronger, but we can't shake, unless there's some kind of news event, we will not shake the correlation with the broader market. Again, whenever you ask me about an altcoin, just pull up the BTC pairing. If it's in a downtrend, it is weaker than Bitcoin. So this is a big time pullback on Link BTC, creating a lot of space for a lower high to be the result of the next bounce. And it would be a notable red flag for Link bulls if we were to confirm a daily downtrend from here. So we've got a ton of space where we are going to anticipate a daily lower high is going to be the result of the next bounce. It's a potential daily head and shoulders. If a head and shoulders confirmed, again, we've been going through these head and shoulders. Atom BTC gave us a head and shoulders that showed relative strength shifting to relative weakness. CHZ BTC gave us a head and shoulders that showed us relative strength shifting to relative weakness. So now Link BTC has got the same setup. Are we going to see the relative strength? I mean, it's already shifted to relative weakness, notably over the last 5 days, but is that going to continue to follow through is the question that a downtrend confirming will answer. But already the size of this pullback, definitely a little bit of a red flag, and we have to be cautious of monthly consolidation on Link BTC pairing. Not sure when my next chat with Eric is. I have to reach out to people. I'm not good about it. People reach out to me, and I'm always down to talk, but I need to get better at reaching out to people. Summarize a 3-point trade tech list for Bit. Didn't I just do that? Didn't I just give like 6 points? I thought I just gave all my reasoning. Tesla's definitely a lead bear. It's dumping on news. Again, the broader market's up 2.5% to 3%, and Tesla's down 8%. So Tesla's got to shake that negative news overhang after earnings delivery numbers led to a big dump today. Let's check our crypto stocks. So crypto stocks, MARA, holding on better than the broader stock market. Again, if this were SPY and QQQ, we would be trading down. We would have confirmed this here, and we'd be trading right here. So we're seeing relative strength in MARA. Riot gave us some relative strength last week. And what we're watching for is monthly higher lows on these names. We topped out, we set a monthly lower high, and now anything above the fear lows is a monthly higher low. The next simple check mark is 4-hour trends. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 must confirm 4-hour uptrends over the next 2 days if this thesis is going to continue shaping up well. What was my most difficult trading year? I mean, obviously the early ones, but most difficult trading year in the last 7 or 8 years is definitely this one. What do I look for to confirm a bottom is in for Bitcoin? Higher lows and higher highs. A break of weekly lower highs, increasing bull volume, broader stock market confidence, dollar weakness, continued metals strength. We're just looking for signs that will give bulls confidence to take money from the sidelines and put it back in play. There's a ton of cash on the sidelines. And I said this morning during the live stream for Chart Guys members, we're getting all these weekend headlines about Credit Suisse, I don't even know how to say it, and Deutsche Bank, insolvent, and one of these main institutions are going to collapse. Maybe they will, but I just reminded everybody that when you are at the bottom, the negative headlines and the fear and the negative sentiment is literally at its peak. So just keep that in mind. If you're not seeing a significant amount of negative headlines and negative sentiment, you're not at the bottom. I am still looking, so that's another point. Yes, the Bitcoin falling wedge on the 3-day time frame that we've been talking about for 2 weeks is another factor as to why I am grabbing a bullish position. And that would pretty much be if the daily equilibrium breaks bull, we're going to be testing that resistance. 22.8 matters more to me than this pattern, but I like this pattern as a nice visual guide. But if we don't break 22.8, the weekly downtrend remains intact. We got to break those weekly lower highs. With everything on the brink of collapse and the prospect of war, do you think it will cause people to hoard cash? What would lead to somebody hoarding cash now versus last week, 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago? I had a cookout with my neighbors, and one of my neighbors capitulated last week, her retirement funds. You get to a point, just like when the situation between the two countries happened where there was an invasion recently. I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, but that marked the bottom. So again, the reason we see bounces in a bear market is because you reach points where there is nobody left to sell and there is nobody left to short. And so all you have is bulls buying the dip and shorts covering. And so we've seen multiple bounces like that in this market environment the last couple of months. So all I'm looking for, I'm not calling a bottom. All I'm looking for is for a weekly bounce to try and shape up, just like it has multiple times over the last few months. You look at the S&P 500, and there's been a lot of notable bounces in this bear market. We had this bounce of 12%. We had this bounce of 20%. So even if this is a weekly bounce, it can be an 8% bounce off the lows. And that will at least give me enough wiggle room to be able to position break even worst case. So again, I'm not calling bottoms or anything. Maybe we just set a weekly lower high and then drop to fresh fear lows. That's entirely possible. But if that happens, I will be risk-free at that point. All right. Still a ton of strength in the broader market short term. Just a 5-minute grind up kind of day. All major sectors up at the highs at the same time. Financial sector has now broken daily resistance. Appreciate the likes and subscribes. Again, check out the Trader Pro webinar tomorrow, because if the bull market gets going, it will be more useful, certainly more useful than a sideways market. 4-hour uptrends, need to confirm them on Bitcoin, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and altcoins. They all need 4-hour higher lows and higher highs for this move to attempt and follow through. One day does not mean a thing. One day is a good start. One day gets our attention. One day has us established game plans. But one day is not enough. This has to last days. Doesn't necessarily have to be tomorrow, But this week needs to be a bull control week. We're off to a good start, but we got 4 trading days left to go. All right, I appreciate you all tuning in. A lot of the questions that are being asked right now, I have answered in this stream. Is it a good time, do I think, to go long, no touch Bitcoin? After everything that I just said the last half hour, you've got your answer. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to do good things. We'll check back in on Wednesday and see if there are red flags for bulls or whether it is following through as we would like to see. The table is set now as to what we need to see from here. And on Wednesday, well, I guess we'll check in tomorrow for the webinar. We'll have some more information then. See you soon. Thanks again. 87 likes.